Hi, welcome to Conversion Conversations. This is Cameron, and today I'm taking a look at the Transformers Generations collaboration between the Transformers brand and the Ghostbusters brand. Here we have the Ghostbusters Ecto-1 Cadillac, which is also Transformers Ectotron. And this was a really cool exclusive. If I remember right, it went up on Hasbro Pulse back in like February or March, and it sold out super quick. I got my pre-order in back then. He arrived earlier this week, and now I'm taking a look at him. And this is, I mean, right? It's everyone knows it's a remold of Combiner Wars Onslaught and Hotspot, but like, look at this thing. This has almost nothing of that mold. Really, just some general engineering ideas are shared. We have that classic Cadillac. We've got the white wall tires. We've got painted rims. We've got a really well tempoed Ghostbusters symbol there. It's everything that I remember from the movie. It seems like proportionally, maybe it's a little stretched out more than he was in the actual movie, the real car. But it's such a subtle thing to me that I don't really notice it there. And then he's got, the bits and bobs up top. And yeah, there's a robot hiding underneath. This is the part that kind of lets you see, okay, here's how the Onslaught, transformation fits in there. But other than that transformation scheme, this is a really cool looking Cadillac. He rolls. I was thinking about what to compare it to, but I don't have any Ghostbusters toys, and it's not meant to sit with Transformers. Like, it's a Voyager sized toy. I'll compare it in bot mode to show that off. In alt mode, it's just, almost a standalone piece. When I unboxed it, I showed off kind of that packaging, which is really, really neat. The only other thing it comes with is this little Slimer here, which I don't know if my camera is able to pick up the molded details. It's molded pretty nicely. It's a soft little jelly squishy guy. It's got a peg at the bottom that, as far as I know, the only peg to sit him on is up there. But yeah, he's fine. I don't care too much about him, and I'm going to set him off to the side for now. And let's get into that transformation scheme. So yeah, again, lovely painted. Like, this feels like an exclusive. I think originally I got it for like 35 or 40 bucks. This feels definitely worth it. That extra $10 from the Voyager price point. I see it in the paint, and then obviously the redesign. The first thing we're going to do is... actually, one thing I want to point out before I get moving. The hose that they have, it kind of sits in that car cab. What I found is, like, you kind of just mash it in there, and then you get it sealed. And sometimes I can mash it in, and the back will close. You can see it's kind of separated here. It'll close and it'll sit like that. Sometimes when I put it in with the pack on top, there's enough force here where it's pushing out on this wall here in the hatch that it causes this line separation. I just wanted to note that. I'm not sure where in the there's not in the instructions, it doesn't say like line it up like this on the inner part of the cab. So I just kind of stick it in there. If anyone knows exactly how you should do that, feel free to let me know. But yeah, so we're going to start transforming him by getting rid of the top piece. Unplug this hose here. Unplug this hose. It's got 3 connections, one down, one in the middle, one up top. And then this is pegged on in 2 places. We can just lift this straight out and tilt it a little bit to get this guy out. And the top of the car pack can sit off to the side for now. We can come in and get this piece off also. And then here is kind of the base mold that we can start transforming. And we're going to start by separating out the back from the front. We just grab here and pull it separate. It's those Combiner Wars leg extensions. They pull out just fine. Flip him over, flip out the toes, come in the back. We can separate and flip out his heel. I like this assembly. It's a single rotating pin joint, but the way it moves, it's got mechanism moving on the inside, which I appreciate that. Then when the knees are locked in that extendable position, we can close the shin over them. Sometimes during transformation it happens automatically. Make sure that is closed. And next we're going to come in and we're going to take these side panels of the cars, extend those out. You can see it's on a double hinge joint here. Extend it out and flip it up. Get it out of the way on both sides. Then we can come in and separate the top of the, let me get it down here. Separate the hood of the car, separate it out and bring it down. And there you've got kind of his arms and shoulders out of the way. You can come in now, open up his chest piece, flip out his head. And while we're in here, this piece, I don't think this plastic piece goes anywhere else. So I just kind of stuff it in his chest for now. It's soft plastic, just to get it out of the way and so I don't lose any of my bits. Then we can come in, rotate the shoulders toward you 90 degrees, bring the arm assemblies down, flip his wrists out on both sides. The hood on each side has 2 panels. This second panel sits on a joint that can extend and contract. So we're going to push down on that joint, compress that piece down. It gives us clearance to rotate the hood of the car around, give him his Ectotron shoulder pieces. And for Ectotron, for his general body, we've got that done. The next thing we got to transform is his the top of the car into the proton pack. So here is what was on top of the car. There is a gun piece, or the proton pack hose extender piece. I don't actually know what they call that in the movie, but that can connect to the blue piece of his proton pack hose, no problem. Then we can come in at the bottom here, this whole assembly, oh actually before I forget, take this red piece, flip that down, then flip this whole assembly 180 degrees. It folds up and forms kind of that proton pack shape. And we can take this brass hose, there is a little hole here that we can poke that into, and then compress the rest of the proton pack down. And there we've got the proton pack all set up, and it clips. There is a tab right here. There's a slot right here on his back. That clips into place nicely, and he can hold his proton pack without any sort of issue. And yeah, it's a Voyager toy, but it's a Combiner Wars transformation, so it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, very intuitive. I almost did the transformation fully by accident when I was doing my unboxing video. But yeah, there is Ectotron, and he looks terrific. I mean, I really, really like the look of this character. I read the first issue of the comic book. He's like an inquisitive, science-y, paranormal type. I dig him a lot. I'm glad to have the character, on my shelves, and it's cool to have the Combiner Wars Voyager torso mold from Onslaught and Hotspot one more time as a non-combiner, just a standalone. We can get in on his head sculpt. It's a really nice looking head sculpt. I love his head design. The face seems a little flat, but actually as a robot, like that kind of semi-featureless face with the goggles really suits me. I like that a lot. He's got pretty good articulation. The head can go up and down a little bit. It can twist in and out. If you're not careful, I'm pressing down on the proton pack and it's tilting it out of the tab. I gotta be careful about that. Hold him down here. The shoulders can go in and out. They can turn, not full 360, part of his backpack, which sits kind of, it doesn't stick out that much, but it does impede some of his rotation and movement. And then he has an inner shoulder joint, which also butterflies out, so you can get really good articulation here. Maybe I should raise that camera up just a bit more. There we go. Yeah, so he can get really good articulation in that shoulder joint with both pieces of it. He's got his own bicep swivel. He's got a good curl. It gets around that part of the car hood, no problem. So that doesn't impede his arm articulation all that much. He gets a little bit of in and out on his wrist. You can kind of use that transformation joint to get a little more articulation. And then same thing, his legs can kick forward. They can kick back around his backpack as much as possible. He can do the full Van Damme, no problem. Gets out there. The knees, he's got, as much knee as the mold that the car shape that he's in on his the back of his shins can give him. And then if you want to break up the transformation just a little bit, you can try and do that to get some additional articulation, but it'll end up kind of making him look stubby. And that's about it. He's got a little bit of toe articulation, but no curl or anything, which I realized I got really used to in the Siege molds really, really fast. The fact that he doesn't have any ankle tilt, it bothers me a little bit. It's an older design mold, but it would have been nice if they were able to add that ankle tilt in some manner or another. Now I don't have a Ghost Starscream to compare him to. I wouldn't mind that at all if they ended up doing one of those molds. But I do have Starscream mold, the Seeker mold. Here is him compared to one of the current Voyagers. And as you can see, he's bigger than what we're used to now in the Voyager scale for Siege. He's a full head taller than Red Wing over there. And I love the design. I'm not as tempted to pick up that Ghostbusters Optimus Prime. I like MP10 mold plenty, but that one doesn't faze me as much as this guy. I just love that they gave this to us. This just seems like a really, really cool design, and a cool character with cool fiction. I'm just happy all around with what we've got here. He's a little fiddly. If you can see that backpack, if you're not pressing on it in the right way, can fall off. The knees have the same sort of a little loose feel that the Combiner War knees had. But other than that, it's a really, really cool mold. And yeah, that's it. That's all I've got for him. Quick look at Ectotron. He's terrific. Highly recommend you get him. Just kind of a unique piece of Transformers history now. And I'm looking forward to seeing future collaboration stuff, I wonder if we'll get Marvel again or Star Wars or, who knows. Thanks again for watching, and thanks for checking them out, and have a great day, everyone.